started early this year, and it appears the trend is not ending any time soon. Kenaseka, KTN News.
All right, and joining me in studio to dissect some of those issues, to my extreme left is Julie Soweto, who's an advocate, and immediate left is Churchill Saoke, who is an IR expert. Thank you very much for making the time to come. I'll just start by asking the simplest of questions. Who is a Kenyan citizen, Julie?
A Kenyan citizen, as the Constitution says, is one who is born in Kenya. Therefore, you can acquire citizenship by birth, which means you don't choose it. And then the other way of acquiring citizenship is through registration, either by marriage or after having stayed in Kenya for some time.
All right.
Yes.
And how can one lose his or her citizenship as okay?
Well, I think just as the lawyer has said, you can lose your citizenship by perhaps revocation, if you may have at the time, especially for those who have acquired their citizenship by registration.
Yeah.
If you maybe had given wrong information at the time of registration, or maybe the basis upon which you were registered are found to be invalid. For example, in instances where children under age of 8 years who are perceived to be not nationals of any state, and by virtue of that they were registered in Kenya as they are under 8 years, but then at some point you come and realize that at the point of registration he was above 8 years.
Okay.
So that can be a basis of revocation of your citizenship. So for those who are specifically born in Kenya, there is no outright manner in which you can revoke that citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cannot revoke your citizenship if you're born by birth?
A Kenyan citizen by birth cannot lose his citizenship except that that specific Kenyan renounces.
Okay.
And it is a very specific act. You must voluntarily renounce your citizenship.
Okay.
It cannot be presumed, it cannot be assumed that you have done so. You must voluntarily make clear your intention to renounce your citizenship by birth. Otherwise, for a citizen by birth, there is absolutely no way you can lose your citizenship.
And once you renounce it, is it possible to regain it once again?
I think it's a will issue. And yes, you can. But then again, now it now brings to the question of the state at that time with regards to is the state, will the conditions at that time allow the state to accept you as a citizen? Because you see, the whole question of being accepted as a national on the basis of birth is basically a moral question. But then being accepted as a citizen and being recognized as a citizen by the state on the basis of registration of documentation is purely a rational process. And so the nationality acquisition by birth is an obligation of any state to give any person born in Kenya. If you renounce that citizenship willingly and you want to regain it again willingly, then I think it is now a question of rationality, and it depends on the conditions at that time. And the state maybe, I don't know what the law says, maybe Julie can help us on this.
Yeah.
It will be based on the conditions at that time on which the state can be able to accept you or not accept you as a citizen.
All right, which brings to the question of dual citizenship. For one to renounce his citizenship, he has to acquire a citizenship somewhere else. So when you're coming back to your country, you have to get a dual citizenship. So how does that work, Julie?
Article 16 of the Constitution right now is very clear that even if you acquire the citizenship of another country, you do not lose your citizenship by birth. You're a dual citizen automatically. And I think it's important for us to read that section, because it says a citizen by birth does not lose citizenship by acquiring the citizenship of another country. So it doesn't matter if you're a Kenyan-born citizen and you acquire the citizenship of another country, you have dual citizenship. You do not lose your Kenyan citizenship.
Yeah.
The acquisition of another country's citizenship does not take away the citizenship that you acquired by birth. Yeah.
Which brings us to the case of Miguna. We have seen what has been ensuing in the past few months and in the past few hours exactly. How many people go through the same issues that he has when coming into Kenya?
I think, and I want to add on what Julie has said just before I answer that question, on the basis of, especially on dual citizenship. And I think there is a confusion that is also coming in, and it's a constitutional issue. When you look at Article 15, sub-Article 5 of the Constitution, which also says, and it's about the point on the effective date of the Constitution of Kenya.
Yeah.
And it brings to the question of, before Kenya did not recognize dual citizenship. And so if you were a citizen, if you acquired a citizenship of another country, what was your status as a Kenyan citizen at that time? And so, for example, a case example maybe is Miguna. He acquired his citizenship in Canada, I think in 1998, right?
Yeah.
So at the point of acquisition of that Canadian citizenship, what was the status of his citizenship as a Kenyan? And I think there are provisions for regaining the citizenship upon acquisition of another citizenship of another country, which you have to apply for some of the things, I think. And this, I think, is the basis upon which the immigration is trying to bring the whole concept of confusion.
Yes, just for the sake of our viewers, you said Article 15, sub-Article...
Is it 15? Yes, I think 15 or 14, sub-Article 5.
Sub-Article 5 of Article 15, which states citizenship by registration, states that this article applies to a person as from effective date, but any requirements that must be satisfied before the person is entitled to be registered as a citizen shall be regarded 14.
Sorry, 14,
so it is 14. Okay,
14,
I'll be getting back to that as you continue. We can take a look at what 14 says.
It's 14.5.
14.5.
Yes.
Citizenship by birth, which says a person who is a Kenyan citizen by birth and who has ceased to be a Kenyan citizen because the person acquired a citizenship of another country is entitled on application to regain Kenyan citizenship. If you may continue now.
Yes, so it means that if it is recognizing that before the effective date of the 2010 Constitution, there was no recognition of dual citizenship in Kenya. So if you acquired a citizenship of another country, then it is presumed that you lost citizenship of Kenya. So then you therefore need to regain that citizenship at your will.
Okay.
So that's my understanding. The lawyers can be able to help us on that.
Yeah.
But then it brings to the question other confusing factors that in 2012, I think, Miguna got his registration, he got a national ID. On what basis? That's one.
All right.
He vied for gubernatorial position of the capital of Kenya. On what basis?
Okay.
So these are questions that I think we really need to interrogate, and I think the government agencies also need to come out extremely explicit, so that every Kenyan outside there who is a dual citizen, and there are a number of them who are citizens in the US, in UK, and other parts of the world, could be able to outrightly know their rights and obligations as dual citizens. Because if we make it loose and make it quite open in a manner that you can be able to manipulate politically, Kenyans will look at everything that the government does politically and forget the technical things and the requirements of the law.
All right. We want to take a short break here on Morning Express, but when we